Hi, welcome to Perils of an Independent Author. My name is Neil Owens. I was born and reared in Washington, D.C. I currently reside in Alexandria, Virginia and High Point, North Carolina. My journey to become an independent author began in 2013, but became full-time venture in 2014 when I decided to follow my childhood passion for writing short stories and novels and decided to write this story that God had put into my head. The title was called Mirrors of Life. And at the time, I didn't have a title. So let's go back to the things that led me into this novel. I had to learn, I was gifted with the ability, the art of storytelling. I was gifted with that. And I had to learn the technical aspects of writing. So I took online novel courses and I joined the writing communities. And in those writing communities, I received a lot of constructive criticism, but then I also received a lot of scorn, ridicule, laughter at my writing style and process. I mean, I knew I had grammatical issues, so those didn't concern me. But mostly it was my writing style. People were saying I didn't, writing style, whatever. So but I knew, I trusted in myself, and I said, well, nothing wrong with my writing style. I'm not changing my writing style because if my writing style isn't the norm, then so be it, because there is no such thing as the correct way to do the right thing. Okay, and I say that often because there isn't. And it's like if you happen to be a basketball fan and you go back a few years, you'll know Rick Barry, who's an NBA Hall of Famer. He shot his 3 free throws underhanded, and he's one of the top percentages of all time in free throw shooting. You see, there is no correct way to do the right thing. People have their own style. And so don't look at the style. Look at the quality of the writing. Look at the way it is done and look at the results. So I stuck into that, and I went through that whole process of writing my story probably about 1,000 times. And, when I finally got to the point of completing it, I think it was probably 2018, I sent the first draft over to my Aunt Loretta and my Aunt Althea and my uncle James and Paul. I sent it over to them so that they could see it. Also to my Uncle Ray, who happens to be the husband of my Aunt Althea. And I wanted to get their feedback on just what it was and what they initially thought of the draft. And I got feedback from them. I got some honest, constructive feedback. But one person surprised me, and that was my Aunt Loretta, because she actually edited the whole story in a sense. And she sort of put that whole novel together, and she organized it because it was something there, but it wasn't organized. And when I got it back from her, I saw how she had organized it, and I learned from that experience. It was like, wow. I saw it and I said, man, this is she's really put this together. I could kind of like see my story now. I could feel my story, but I could see it, and I knew it was like a roadmap as to how I was going to finalize it and how I was going to put it all together. So that was very, very critical for me. And so, cause especially when you're in the process of learning the technical aspects of writing, there are technical aspects of writing. I mean, of creative writing. So it's just not having the gift of storytelling, the art of storytelling, but also being able to make it, learn those technical aspects, POV and show and tell, and how do you maneuver these type of things, and how do you work those pieces out in your story. So learning all of those things was very, very important, and I learned a lot from the writing communities. And I have to give credit to Silver Pen Writers, Writers Cafe, and Fan Story, because those are the three places where I went and I learned, and I received constructive criticism. I mean, I received some harsh criticism. I received some scorn. I received some laughter. I received ridicule, but none of it took away from. But I also received inspiration. I received encouragement. I found people who were who could see the potential in me, and who were there to, offer some suggestions and some guidance. And that's so appreciative of the communities and how people were so very helpful, and the spirit of people who wants to help, and that's a beauty, that's a beautiful thing. And so all of that made me stronger. It made me stronger as an individual and as a writer. And I trusted myself. So I was putting down this story, and I wasn't going to change my writing style, but I was going to put together this story, and I was going to produce it and put it out there, and I wanted to go the traditional publishing route, because that was my initial route. I wanted to be a traditional publisher. I mean, I felt that was the accomplishment of an author, was to become a traditional publisher, an agent, a publishing house, major publishing house publishing your book. Wow. But when I discovered that I wouldn't have editing control over my novel, like when you sign the contract, there is no more control. I couldn't take that chance. I couldn't take the chance that some of the things I wanted in this book would not be put into the book. I put sweat and tears in this novel for 5 years, so there was no way I was just going to allow it to just hand over to somebody and they would just be able to do what they want with it, and I wouldn't have any say. So I went the self-publishing route, the hard part. I learned what to do as a self-publisher and to go forward. I decided to create my own publishing company. It's like I was going to self-publish it. Why should I self-publish it under, Amazon or, Ingram or Lightning Source or something? So I created Owens Publishing LLC. And that's where I created my own publishing piece and my own business, and became an independent author when I released my debut novel, Mirrors of Life, in 2019. This story that addresses life. It addresses the issues we all encounter in life. It's like when you look at your life in the mirror, you see moments of happiness and sadness, life and death, and things that make you question the fairness of life. This book addresses all of those issues. It confronts them. It also helps you to understand yourself and others. And also gives you solutions to solving some of the problems that you may be encountering in your life. Mirrors of Life addresses drama, spirituality, family, romance, philosophy. All of those things are components of life. And all of those pieces we encounter in our life. And the big question is life fair? And this story addresses that question and answers it according to scriptures and according to the things that we encounter in our daily lives. So I am so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this piece. So now I have this book, and I'm going to publish this book. So I had 100 copies that I purchased, author copies, 100 of them. And I went to give them to individuals who were strangers, not family or friends, because I wanted strangers. I wanted them, and one of the things I said when I got the book, when I addressed people, and I walked to them on the street or the universities, wherever it was that I saw someone that I wanted, I asked them, do you read novels? And I asked them, what kind of novels do you read? Because I wanted to make sure I gave it to someone who was going to read it, who may have interest. And I only asked one thing, was that for them to give me a honest review on Amazon. But I didn't get one. That was a disappointing piece. I had 100 strangers that I gave to, but I didn't get one. Now the question is, well, who are some of the people on Amazon who do I know all those people? No, I don't know all those people, but I know where those reviews came from those individuals. Those reviews didn't come from that 100 people that I gave free copies to. That's the disappointing piece. You are an independent author, you're out there, and you're trying to do something, and you give somebody a book for free, and they can't take a minute of their time or 2 minutes of their time to simply give a rating on Amazon and say, I liked it, this is why, or I didn't like it, this is why. Couldn't do it, didn't do it. And, that's just disappointing. And there are some people who have bought the book and also have not submitted a review on Amazon, on Goodreads, on Barnes & Noble. And a lot of people don't understand, don't realize how important that is. They may have contacted me on Facebook and shared, hey, a great book, and told people on Facebook, oh, that's a great book on my Facebook page. That's fine. But I need them to put a review also on Amazon, on Goodreads, and on Barnes & Noble, and other places where they may buy a book. That's important. That's important for authors, is that we get reviews, because people who may run across our book, they're gonna check out the reviews. And when my book first came out in August of 2019, it was quite a while before I was able to get any reviews. People just wasn't putting down reviews. So the book was out there and I was promoting it, but I didn't have any reviews. And it took a while, and I was disappointed because I had so many books that I had given away I just knew that people was going to put some reviews down, but they didn't take their time to do that, and that's very, very disappointing. That's a very, very and that's maybe they just don't understand how important that is for authors. So let me say this: that is extremely important for authors that you give a review, an honest review. As authors, we don't want you to tell us our book is great and all if it's not. I mean, just be honest. If it's got some errors, it got some flaws, it got something to it, and be honest with it. I mean, reading is subjective. Because you don't like it doesn't mean other person may not like it, but you need to at least give a review and give your honest review on it. So that is something that I'm just disappointed that I haven't gotten the reviews that I should get. And I can only ask that those individuals who have bought my book and who have read my book, that they please put a review on Amazon or on Goodreads or on Barnes and Noble or on all three. Just put an honest review, because that helps me sell books, and it helps me as an author as I move forward in my career. And that's why I ask, because an independent author is what he is, an independent author. So he's struggling because he's struggling against the major publishing houses and trying to become exposed. I mean, a lot of doors are closed to us who are independent authors. I mean, there are book, there are contests, there are things that we are not qualified. We're not eligible. That's not say qualified. We're not eligible to participate because we are self-published, and they just close the door to self-published works. And why? I don't know. You can speculate on my idea, but I'm not going to get into that. But they don't give an opportunity to self-published authors. So we have to go to other places where there are other book, where there are contests, and places where they do mainstream, which is considered the publishing houses, and also independent, which is self-publishing. So there are those, and you go and you try to find those and put your work in and see how things fly from there. And fortunate for me, like I said, my book came out in August 2019, or actually it was on as early as July on 2019 on Amazon, but official date was August 2019. And recently, I put myself into participated in different kind of contests, and I recently won the Silver Book Award from Literary Titan, which is an organization of professional editors, writers, and professors. And so I was very, very happy about that recognition. I also recently was named the finalist in the fiction cross-genre category for the 2020 International Book Awards, and very, very proud of that acknowledgement and that recognition. It's like, wow. I mean, it's like this is my debut novel. It's my first book that's published out there, and it's my first novel, and it's an award-winning novel. Nobody can take that away from me. So it has won an award, and it has won multiple awards. So it is good work. It is a quality written story. It's not something that you go with a red pen and have to process through, and you just put down because there's too many. No, the book addresses everything. It is professionally done, professionally edited, and I'll give credit to Rick for that. He's my editor, and he did a great job for me on this. I mean, and I met him at Silver Pen in the writing community, and and it was a couple of years later that I hadn't communicated with him, but I met him earlier. I don't remember what, I think it was maybe 2015 or maybe. But then by 3 years later, I reached out to him, and when the work was done, and asked if he was able to edit my work, and he was able to do it, and I was skeptical because I said, wow, I don't want anybody trying to change my writing style, because people want to change your writing style. And I've ran into a lot of individuals like that in the writing communities who wanted to change my writing style. But no, he didn't change my writing style. He addressed issues. He had questions and suggestions, and most of his suggestions I accepted. There were a few that I didn't. But there it is, and the product that we produced, that we presented, became award winning, and I'm very, very excited about that, and very, very appreciative of that. So it's writing for us. Let me just say this: there's an individual, and we have to be supportive of each other. And that's all the perils of independent authors. We have to be supportive of each other. And unfortunately, not everyone is supportive of each other, because there are so many, it's a very competitive field, and everybody's trying to grab a seat. It's like a game of musical chairs, and everybody's trying to grab a seat before the music stops. And in this field, what happens is there's more chairs added and the music starts playing again, but there are many more authors than there are chairs that are added. So as it goes on, the cycle goes on, there are still an abundance of authors who are left without a seat. And a lot of those authors have gems. They have written gems. They have diamonds. Their books are diamonds. And they are unknown. They don't have a seat. So they're counted among, they're sort of left without the exposure that others have. And a couple of those people, one is Shanna Congrove. Now, if you like science fiction fantasy, then you want to read the Breline series, because that is some very, very good work. She is an excellent author, and her work is strong. So I highly recommend that. If you like the Twilight movies, this one is much more adult than those. I mean, that Twilight was more like the young adult. This one travels from young adult into the older generation for appreciation. That's how skilled she is. Her name is Shanna Congrove. So check her out, and check out the Breline series, which is her works. Another one is Cassandra Dyer. And she is another skilled author. And I've met her on Facebook. And she reached out to me and helped me when I first started. I mean, she helped give my book some exposure. I was nobody, but she helped, to give some exposure to it. And that's a beauty of that, and I appreciate that. And that's her nature. And that's the beauty of her nature. And it coincides with my nature, because I'm also that type of person who helps, who want to help others, who try to give as much as I can and help others. And I've been that throughout my entire life. And I shared that through my entire professional career. And that's a piece that disappoints me, because I have done that. There are so many people that I have met over the years, and that I have helped over the years, that I have assisted financially, emotionally, and professionally in their lives. And they can't spend $3 to buy my ebook. I mean, they can't even spend $3 to buy the ebook. The paperback is $14.95. They can't buy that. Whether you gonna read it or not, but the fact of just supporting me because I supported you in the past. It's what you should do, and it's no exception. There's no excuse for someone who can't even pay $3 to get in you an ebook. I mean, it just isn't. Say, well, I don't have the capability of reading an ebook. Yeah, you can download the application for free, so that's not an excuse. You're on Facebook all the time, so I mean, you can read it. You can get it, and it's only $3. So, but that's disappointing as well. I mean, that's just some of the things that we as independent authors encounter and face in life. We have family and friends are, in a lot of the cases, are the least supportive. And that's sad. I don't even say friends, but I just say associates, because everybody isn't your friend, but let's put them in the category of associates, those and so on. So it's not all. I mean, there's a lot of family and a lot of friends who have supported me, so I can't take away. I got a lot of people who have supported me. I don't want to call all their names because there's so many of them. I don't want to offend anybody and forget, but going back all the way from Delafield Place, all the way up to the Metropolitan Police Boys and Girls Clubs on Benning Road, to the Boys and Girls Clubs and Milwaukee Place in Southeast, to the FBR branch on Mississippi Avenue, to the Boys and Girls Clubs of in Greater Washington, all of that. I mean, so you've been through all of these things, and you have experienced all of these, and you've met a lot of people throughout all the years, those who have known you, and I guess they all are probably shocked that, wow, at 62 years old, I've written a novel. Okay, I was 61 when I released my debut novel. So it's like, oh wow, how can this guy write a book? I mean, it's just some stuff. It's like, wow. But I wrote it. And it's won awards. But this is the first one, so this one doesn't have the award cover. This is not the award cover. This is the very first book, okay, that was printed. And that's why I'm showing it. I keep this because this is the very first one that came out off the press, off of Amazon, the very first book. And I wish, but again, that first debut novel, and I'm very proud of it because it's an award-winning novel. And nobody can take that away. Okay, no one can take that away, and that speaks to the quality of what is, and that speaks to my accomplishment as an author. The fact that yes, I won the Literary Titan Silver Book Award. An organization of professional editors, writers, and professors. That speaks volume. And I'm named a finalist in the fiction cross-genre category for the 2020 International Book Awards. I mean, that speaks volume because this novel is now recognized internationally. And hopefully, all of that will lead to more sales, because I don't write for the sales, but that's helpful because there are a lot of things I would like to do by selling the book, more books, because I can help more people. I believe in charity. I can help my family, of course, first. Remove some of these bills that we have, but then I can also help others, and that's what I'm all about. God has blessed me over the years. And that's why this book is called Mirrors of Life, for that purpose. Because, when you look at your life in the mirror, You see moments of happiness and sadness, life and death, and things that make you question the fairness of life. In this book are those issues, and it confronts the issues of life, and it provides solutions to problems and solving problems in your life. This book addresses drama, it's family, it's romance, it's spirituality, it's philosophy, it's life. It's a fictional tale that is non-fiction. Okay, that's the tale. It's imagination made real. And that's the way it reads. You read it and the imagination feels real because it is a realistic, contemporary story. And it addresses things that you can see in your life and things that you would see in yourself and things that you would see in others. So it's entertaining because it has all the suspense, it has all of these type of things, the intrigue, and it just leads to something that's very, very powerful. And once you have read it, then you'll understand how powerful it is. And so you can check out the reviews on Amazon. You can also check out some reviews on Goodreads. I think one of my first reviews on Goodreads was a 3-star review. I got a 3-star review from an individual on Goodreads, but it was their honest review. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's what they thought of it. I mean, they didn't particularly like a character and thought this, thought that, because reading is subjective. So I was appreciative of that. But most of my reviews are all 4 and 5 stars. But the thing is that it is acknowledged internationally. So it is a strong story, and it's one of those gems that's hidden at the bottom of the tall grass. And there are a lot of authors who have novels that are gems, that are diamonds, but they're at the bottom of the tall grass, and people are not looking down at the bottom. They're only looking at the top of the grass, and that's what they see, because those are the ones that's being exposed. They have the exposure so they can read about those type of books. But down at the bottom, there are some strong books. A lot of people, a lot of authors, not just me, who have gems, but a lot of other authors have some very, very good books down there. But, so you really have to take a look at those things and, and show appreciation to authors. And I know for my case, let me just say this: for those people who have purchased my book or who have read my book, please do a review. Please. If you haven't done a review on Amazon or on Barnes and Noble or on what's the other one? Goodreads. If you haven't done a review yet, please do a review, because reviews are very, very important for authors. Extremely important. We need reviews. So we need everyone who have read our book to do an honest review. I mean, I've had people who have shared, have told me on Facebook or on social media, about my book and tell me how they like it and so on and so on or whatever, but giving me a rating. But I need you to do that on Amazon. I need you to do it on Goodreads. I need you to do it on Barnes and Noble. I need you to do that because that's helpful, because it means something. A lot of people, when they buy a book, they look at the reviews and they judge it by the reviews. And so reviews are helpful, especially when you don't have a marketing budget like myself. And once you have 50 reviews on Amazon, they will help market your book, meaning they will send out your book as a recommendation to some of their people who purchase book, their Amazon customers. They send in their email, they send your book out as a recommendation. So you see how helpful that can be, because I don't have the money to market my book on Amazon. I don't have the money to market my book on television. I don't have the money to market my book on a lot of the major newspapers and things. I don't have that kind of, I don't have the money to even market my book on all these different social media outlets where they have. It's a lot of stuff involved, a lot of money involved. I don't have that kind of money. So I can't do that. And so I need the help of the people who read my book, and the people who read it and they like it and they enjoy it, to tell people about my book, to spread the news. I mean, share it. I mean, I send something, things that I post on Facebook, on social media. People like, I say, if you like it, buy it. If you love it, share it. I mean, this is what I need. And I'm hopeful that I can get that kind of support, because that's what authors need. Self-published authors, independent authors, indie authors, whatever you want to call us. That's what we need. We need that kind of support. We need people to do reviews for us and to write. I mean, that's just so important. So please, if you haven't done a review, please do a review. I ask you to do that, because that's very, very important for me. So please do it. Just putting it on Facebook is not enough. Put it out there on Amazon. Put it out there on Barnes & Noble. Put it out there on Goodreads, and show your support that way. And those who know me and say, oh, wow, I'm going to buy your book. I'm sorry I haven't gotten around to buying your book, and so on. Okay, get around and buy it. You can't afford the paperback, $14.95, then get the ebook. It's $2.99, $3. I mean, I got to be worth at least $3, I mean, to people who know me, who I've supported in the past, who I've supported financially, emotionally, spiritually, professionally, I got to be worth at least $3. So look out for that. But the next book is coming up, and next month is going to be the continuation of Mirrors of Life. And I'm not going to show that book today, part 2, but this is the continuation of this. I need you to read this now, because you need to read this so you can be ready for when the next one come out on September the 15th. So you want to have that, because part 2 comes out. You want to have part 1 in hand. And another thing about part 2, that it will be an audible book also. And it's narrated by Charles Gray, who is a Broadway performer. And I was fortunate to connect with him because of the pandemic, which closed down Broadway. So he was available, and he narrated the novel, Mirrors of Life Part 2, The Fight for Political Power. And I have on my YouTube, and also on my social media, there's a 5-minute teaser that of the book and the narration of it. So, check that out. And when you go on there on YouTube, I mean, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if you like it, then, subscribe. And understand this, that you just can't go to YouTube and push the subscribe button, because that won't survive, because they will remove you. You have to like the video. You have to listen to the video, and make a comment. So do those things, and then you subscribe, and and share it. I mean, if you want to share because you have a source out there in social media, so you share with other people, and that's how it works. You share it, and that person shares, it gets around, and who knows, one day this may happen. It's like, wow, and be a part of this thing and helping a brother out, helping out an independent author, who has good days and bad days. Most of my days are bad days because things don't go well a lot of days. There are some days where there is going well. There's a lot of sales going. There's days when there isn't, so you're in a process of trying to become known. I mean, like I said, it's it's probably 2 million books being published every year now. So you start breaking it down, you're looking at over a couple of 100,000 books a month. So it's a lot of books, a lot of choices for readers. So it's a lot to go through. And, so every little bit helps. And how do you help me raise my book up so that people can see it? And then those who found it at the bottom of that tall grass, like many of my readers have, you found it at the bottom of the tall grass, and you recognize it as the gem, and you wrote the review. Continue to talk about it. Continue to spread the information about it across social media. Continue to help promote it because you can help me in promoting it. Word of mouth is one of the greatest marketing procedures. Word of mouth. And if you do that through social media and spread it and push it around to people and all that, and that's helpful. That can help. So again, thank you. This is Neil Owens with Perils of an Independent Author, and I will present another segment very soon. I'm thinking about doing something every day up until the releasing of Mirrors of Life Part 2, the fight for political power. So my next segment, I will be reading some of the first book. Maybe read a few chapters or a chapter here and there or some pieces of it. I don't know. Give me your feedback and tell me what you want to hear and what you think I should, include in my series that I'm doing, the Perils of an Independent Author, the ups and downs, the good and the bad. Thank you very much. Bye.